Live from the Workplace Ninja Summit in Baden. From sponsor breakthroughs to community-led revolutions, this is the Workplace Ninja Community Stage.
Hello everybody, thank you for coming to my session, those who are here. And if you're having your lunch right now, plenty of space if you want to learn about software metering in Microsoft Intune, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So, can I have a quick show of hands from those in the room here? Who uses Intune every day? Almost everyone. Cool. So you probably already know what software metering is, but for those of you who don't, let's just really quickly look at what software metering is. I asked ChatGPT, and I got this answer, effectively. Software metering is the process of monitoring and analyzing the actual usage of software applications on individual devices and across a network to understand who uses what. So in other words, who is running what software on their devices? Straightforward enough. But why do it? Why look at it? What is important about software metering? The answer is really, really simple. To save you money is what it comes down to. If you've got highly expensive apps running on your devices that are not being used, you can reclaim those licenses and save the cost. And a great few examples I have for you here. So Java, Oracle Java specifically. Yeah, I'm seeing some nods. Back in 2003, Java, the license model was changed for JRE, such that you had to license every single one of your employees if one person had a JRE 8 or later license. That could be phenomenally expensive. So there's a great case to see if you need it or if you don't, and you can simply reclaim it. And then there's the more obvious, highly expensive but specialized apps. So Adobe Illustrator or AutoCAD, for example, that are a bit more expensive. We had a customer recently come to us and say, hey, we have people using Bloomberg. It's $2,000 a month per licensing. And if that's not being used, again, those licenses can simply be reclaimed, which is great news. So why are we even here talking about this? To answer that question, I want you to cast your mind back to 2003. You can probably tell where I'm going with this, and just to get a feel, hands up if you ever have or do use SCCM. Okay, so that's a good few of you. So there are a few things that happened in 2003. We had the Iraq War going on a sort of a global stage, obviously a big, significant global event. This would have been your laptop. You would have had something like this. This is a Dell Latitude D400, I think it was, running Windows XP. It's a quality classic laptop. Your phone would be something like this. Now, the great advantages of this phone are Snake 2 and really long battery life, but no internet in your pocket and very limited other uses for that device. Your car would have been something like this. This is the Opel Astra. The water drops actually came on it. It's shipped like this, a dreary, dreary car. My dad had one of these. I had many a not so fun trip being ferried around. Lots of tactile buttons, but very drab. But in a software sense, one thing that happened that was very important was the introduction of SMS 2003. And in the context of this topic, software metering, it brought with it, for the very first time to Microsoft, software metering. Really big milestone. But that was 2003, so now roll forward to today, 2025. In politics, we've obviously got Trump and his tariffs. I won't go off on one, politically speaking, but in sort of devices terms, we have the Copilot laptop that has AI built in, much lighter, better battery life. We have smartphones that no longer, sadly, have the multiple weeks' worth of battery life, but you do have the whole internet in your pocket and more apps than you need. So much more power. And in car terms, we've got things like this. I think this is the Kia EV6 from memory. We're talking touch screens and EV, of course, rather than petrol. Gone are the raindrops. But we're still looking at the same solution for software metering. This is Config Manager, the latest version of Config Manager, and it looks exactly the same. Why are we still using 2003's technology for software metering? There are many, many drawbacks, not to mention the whole potential end of life of Config Manager. Hands up who still drives an Opel Astra? An Opel Astra, 2003 one, of course. No, not a 2003 one. There we go. So why are we still using this when it comes to technology? But Intune, I hear you cry. What about Intune? Intune is current and is very much the way to go. Well, simply put, Intune doesn't today have software metering. It's a massive gap. This is obviously a quote from Reddit, somebody saying, if only it had it. And there isn't a whole bunch out there, really. There are bespoke solutions, and that's about it. But that's where we come in. We are Eido. We're all about Intune and making Intune for everyone. In combination with all of the good stuff you have in Intune, we are bringing you software metering for 2025. What does it look like? So we can give you, with a single click, complete visibility of all of your apps that you choose to meter. It looks a bit like this. And if I click on one more, you can see that all of the thresholds that define when something is red or green is fully customizable. So you can configure it exactly how you want. You could choose to meter certain apps only. And this is great because you get all of the apps on all of your devices. But we also give you this information in the context of an individual device. So if you've got a device and you're looking at it from the perspective of patching, you can also see your metered apps on those devices too. That's great. It sounds like magic, but how does it actually work? Is it secure? Is there an agent? Are the immediate questions I will get if I don't address them now. So, at a high level, our solution is deployed via a PowerShell script, which means there is no true agent. It's a PowerShell script at the end of the day. It is also open and transparent. Again, it's a PowerShell script. You can see what it's doing under the covers. It will actually create a scheduled task that will send data back to us sporadically with this software metering information that already exists on your devices. And it is also secure. It's architected in a way that is X509 certificate-based authentication, so fully secure as well. Enough slides. Let's see it in action. This is where we go into demo mode. So I'm going to jump now to the tool itself. And this is Eido. So for those of you who haven't seen Eido before, we plug Intune dashboarding and reporting pane. So everything you'd expect to see from Intune is here. Config issues, compliance issues, app issues, as well as OS patching. But that's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to focus on software metering. So I'm going to go into my devices list, and I'm going to go find my device, assuming the Wi-Fi plays ball. 9902. I think it's going to ask me to re-authenticate. Let's see. And what I'm expecting to see here is my device. Here we go. This is my device. Luckily, it looks good from a compliance and config perspective and patch perspective. If we drill into the device itself, we should see, again, if Wi-Fi plays ball, a tab for all of those things that gives you a bit more information. So we should see details on the device itself. This is what I'm literally presenting to you from. This is my Dell XPS device. It's good. It's got warranty. We're still in warranty. We're good there. All the Windows patches, I can see what they are. I can see which ones are present. I can see which ones are missing. I can see that I'm good for compliance policies. They're assigned, they're working, they're green. The same with our config policies and managed apps as well. But for software metering, this is where the All Apps tab comes in. Now, in Intune, you've got the Discovered App Inventory, which in Intune is not super useful. It's just a list of stuff that's on the device. It's not particularly actionable. It's not useful. But here, you can see that we add an additional dimension with software metering. We can see when was the app last opened, how many times was it opened in the last 30 days, and how many minutes has it been used for. And of course, you've already got from the context that this is my device. So you know who did this. So you've got who, did what, and when. So you've got all of the information in the context of the device. You need to make this decision on what to do, what to reclaim. Now, the good news here is my OneNote is green. I last used it 6 days ago. Good news. Let's have a look at this sort of in a more pulls together form for metered apps. So for this, I'm going to focus only on metered apps, and we're going to drill into Figma. Now, I use Figma fairly frequently for designing mockups, product mockups, basically. It is a licensed app, though there is a free version. And you can see here it's metered on my device, and this one is not green. Hopefully, I don't get my Figma license taken off of me for this. I last used it 7 days ago. I used it 36 times for a large number of minutes. And if I go into the settings here, you can see that obviously this is a demo. It's OK. I'm not going to have my license reclaimed today because I've set it to be marked as red over 2 days, which of course 7 days is. But the point is here it's fully configurable. And all we need to provide as far as config is concerned is the executable name and/or, depending on the nature of how the app works, a path to where it lives. Now, this is particularly useful where you've got apps that can spin up in temporary directories or come up with different executable names. We also support regular expressions in this. So you can say things like where executable name contains, as an example. So handle those weird and wonderful use cases. The other thing we've got in here is simply the ability to count how many installs we've got. So I'm saying that for Figma, I've defined this as 5 licenses. I've only got 2 installs, good news. To go Amber over 3 and Red over 4. All of that is fully configurable. And of course, we've got this pulled together in one place for all of our metered apps. The other piece of this puzzle is, of course, the scheduled task, which looks like this. So this is what is effectively created from the PowerShell script. You can see here it's scheduled to run every 2 hours, and it will just send effectively app start and app close information back to us for software metering. And that's really all there is. There aren't many moving parts. I could manually run it. Of course, it's a scheduled task. Everyone knows how those work. They've been around for a very long time. There's lots of configurability and flexibility with them. And that's software metering in a nutshell. So zooming back out now to the rest of Eido, as I mentioned, we have a good overview. So it isn't just software metering that we're providing, but complete reporting. Everything you see here you can drill down into. So I can see here CloudStrike. I've got an issue with CloudStrike right now. Clearly from a security perspective, that's quite important to get on top of. But I can drill down into my CloudStrike issue. I can see all of the devices on which there is an issue. I have the list of those devices. I can drill into one. I've got obviously my managed app issue, so I can see my CloudStrike issue. But of course, any other issues on the device, like missing patches or config policy issues, I can see in one place. So in other words, it is actionable. And on our dashboards like this, anything that isn't green can be sent to other tools. So think ServiceNow. People don't want to be staring at dashboards the whole time. They want incidents in their ITSM tools and systems. We also support webhooks, email, Slack, and Teams. Webhook being probably the most useful because what system these days, again going to 2025 apps rather than 2003 apps, doesn't support a webhook. So pretty much you can send these notifications anywhere that you like. We have all of this information both for device, but also in the context of users. So we can show you, for a single user, Isla Taylor, for example, here, has got 5 devices. And the overall rolled-up status of her device is not great, but if we drill down, these are the individual statuses of her devices. You can see it's only one of her devices that's got loads of issues, so there are some issues across the board. So you have that kind of context and that slice and dice capability. Hands up here, who is an MSP? Ooh, no MSPs, cool. In which case I shan't go off and do the MSP set of functionality. But if you're watching on the Jumbotron and you're an MSP, love the Jumbotron, it's a great thing, then do come and find me afterwards because there is functionality in here that is built specifically for MSPs as well. One of the things that we've talked about already is OS patching. In addition to OS patching, it's very important to understand that the OS itself is supported. Because if it's not, you can have a fully patched operating system that's not running a supported version of Windows or wherever it may be. And here you can see that exact information. So I've got 29 devices here, running Windows 11 22H2, and in 19 days we end of life. I can drill down, I can see those devices to make this actionable. Seeing is the first piece of taking action in here. And at a really high level, that is what we do. There is more to this platform, but I'm somewhat time limited here. We have reporting, we have customizable dashboards as well. We have trends as well. And we have a very exciting roadmap that goes beyond software metering, but that's the first part. So I'm going to jump back into slides really quickly to finish this off. So you all know this general shape of pane in Intune. You go and look at your list of devices, they're all green, and that's lovely. But the reality is that that's not the reality. You're missing patches, you've got compliance issues, managed app issues, and seeing it is super important. And we are Intune reporting done right, both for the enterprise and for the MSP. At a zoomed out level, that's what we do. We're also ISO certified and Cyber Essentials compliant. And software metering without an agent is our latest addition. If you're here in the expo and you like the sounds of a free drone, want to walk away with a free drone tomorrow, swing past our stand, give the QR code here a scan. By here, I mean our booth, which is right at the back there by the main doors, where we're going to be drawing the raffle at 3 p.m. on Thursday, which is tomorrow. So do scan this QR code and register for that. And that is why I'm going to see whether there are any questions for one last thing. And if there are questions that come to mind afterwards, I'm going to be at the booth the rest of the show. So, are there any questions? One at the front here.
What would be the limit for software metering, if there is any?
What do you mean by limit for software metering?
How many software can be monitored?
There's no limit except for Windows only at the moment. So there's no limit on the quantity, and it's not licensed. It's licensed on a per user basis, so it doesn't matter what you meter on each device.
So we could theoretically set 3,000 executables for tracking, and they would be able to...
Correct. All it does at the end of the day is when an app opens and then closes, the Windows event log contains a record of that information. And all we're doing is looking for those open and close events, which at the end of the day, it's text. It's not loads and loads of data. And then we're sending that data back to us. So it's not particularly process intensive at all. And if there is a concern that you can set the scheduled task just to run less frequently and send the data less frequently. So no sort of like limit, both in licensing or in technology there. Are there any other questions? You have loads. All good, all good. I know I'm somewhat time limited, so I'm going to leave it there with one final slide just to say we have a free trial which you can simply sign up for from our website. So if you're interested, go and scan the QR code. So you can. Slides are great, demos are great, but there's no substitute for giving it a kick for yourself. It's the only way you're going to know whether it works, let's face it. So I'll give you a moment to scan this QR code. And of course, if there are any other questions, do find me. I'll be on the booth down there and loitering around in general afterwards. Thank you very much for watching, and see you all, and have a good rest of the show. Thank you.
Thanks for joining the Workplace Ninja Community Stage. Stay curious, stay connected, and keep on sharing. Until next time.